All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, it's your girl, Tuka. I am live. All right. Let's try to get this set up together. I wish there was a more organized way to do this thing. So tonight I am live everywhere, but I'm doing it all through StreamYard, hoping that this will make things simpler. StreamYard just doesn't show the comments. That's what happens. All right, I have to make this bigger. Give me a second. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. I think I'm in the game. All right. And listen, I am so glad that you are here because tonight, listen, we've been talking all week about getting on track. We talked about the area of our life where we know something needs to be different. I don't know if it's your finances. I don't know if it's your relationships. I do not know if it is your weight. I don't know if it's your emotional health, your mental health. I'm not sure. But we are talking about the area of your life that because life has gotten so busy, the moment you became a mom and a wife, those things became your identity. And there are some things that you put to the side and said, I'm going to get back to these things one day because you've been out here momming and wifing, okay? So I'm going to talk about what those things are. And yesterday I asked you to be honest with me. Some people said it was their things related to their career. A big one that I saw was weight. People saying they want to lose weight. And we have to be clear when we talk about the kind of weight that we want to lose. But the long and the short of it is this. There's something, an area of your life that you want to get better, and you're waiting for the perfect time, which is never going to happen. You're waiting until the day that you can go all in 100, give it everything you got. That's unlikely to happen because even if you're in a busy season now, guess what? There's probably a busy season following this busy season because that's how life works. So there'll never be a perfect time. There'll never be a time where you'll be able to go all in. There'll never be a time that'll be the ideal time. We also talked about the fact that we think we got more time than we do. All right. We also think we talked about how we can look at other people and see their successes and see their wins and think that that's great for them. And we can cheer for them and clap for them. And we're so excited and so happy about what they have achieved, but not realizing that the same is true for us. All right. So we talked about why we see this thing happening. We see the pants getting tighter. We see the money getting shorter. We see the relationship getting worse. And we have every intention of addressing it, but we wait. Then we talked about what happens when you don't make the decision to get back on track. We talked about how your physical health starts to fail you. And it's not just about looking good in your clothes. Some of us are just one medical emergency away, from our life being completely changed because we haven't taken advantage of the time that we have right now. We talked about how our mental and emotional health suffers because we out here doing all the things and we're doing everything for everybody, but we feel like we don't have anybody who's willing to do anything for us. And we talked about how our careers suffer and our relationships, because in some ways we are resentful. We mad at people about things we felt they should have done. We thought they should have known that they should have done it, and they didn't know and they didn't do it, and we got an attitude about it. And we have not been good protectors of the condition of our heart. So today I want to dig in and I really want to talk about, now that we know we need to address this thing and we're very clear about what happens when we don't address this thing, what do we do now? What do we do when we are ready to get on track? How do we even begin? Because some of us are so pressed for time right now in this season of our life that we can't imagine working on one more goal. All right. We can't imagine adding something to the plate. All right. We can't imagine that there's going to be time. So I know I want to lose weight, but when am I going to go to the gym? Is that going to be in the 25th hour or the 26th hour? All right. So I want to give you some like real steps. So you probably want to write these things down because these are the steps that I want you to take to start getting the things on track. And I'm not talking like these are real steps. I want you to take them brick by brick and we're going to start to get on track. All right. So we're letting go of our all or nothing. We're letting go of the part of us that's doing everything for everybody. And we are going to make a decision today that that thing that we've been promising ourselves that we're going to address it today. And I'm going to walk you through how to create the plan so that you can start doing. Because today our focus is only on solutions. We're only focusing on how to create a plan to get us back on track and start making some progress in the area that we want to. So the first thing you have to do is define your why. All right. And I know we hear this all the time. People are like, what's your why? What's your why? Okay. So before you can do anything about getting back on track, so we're going to use weight because that's one that, I know all about. Okay. So we're going to use weight before you can get back on track with your weight. So you've looked in the mirror, you see things don't look the way you want them to look. But before you can do anything about it, you need to have a clear understanding of why this is important to you. All right. Because what happens is we think that because we made a decision, every day we're going to wake up and we're going to feel like it. Well, the reason that you're doing it is going to be the thing that's going to motivate you when it's not an easy day, when you do not feel like it. This morning, I committed to, this morning, I had an 8-mile run this morning. All right. And I committed to training for this marathon, which is about 60 days away. I got roughly 2 months until race day, right? We've been training. We're in the thick of it, okay? Long run is going to be 17 miles this Saturday. And so I had to do the 8 because I need to test this body out and see what it can do. I had a meeting at 7:15 this morning, right? So the way Mississippi weather is set up, if I waited until after the meeting, all this sweetness was going to melt, okay? I was going to melt. And so it had to happen. So that meant I had to get up at 4 a.m., which is not atypical, easy to do. The part that I had to really press my way through was going out there at 4:45 because it is still dark for over an hour, all right? The only way that I could have done that, because this was a day where I had to make a decision, where I had to decide that I'm going to stick to the plan, all right? And the why is because I want to see what this body can do, and it's tied to my performance. So I'm doing it to cap off my marathoning career, or maybe kick it back off. I don't know what's going to happen, all right? But I committed to this thing. I am committed, all right? So you got to know why. And you need that why so you can know why you're doing this when it's difficult, all right? So when I think about my own journey of wanting to get healthy, to get our blood pressure medication, the entire time that I was always on blood pressure medication, I never wanted to be. I literally was running away from blood pressure medication. So I'm doing everything. Hey, Miss Annette, I'm doing everything that I can to not be on blood pressure medication. Everything that I can, because my entire family is on blood pressure medication. And the problem is I didn't know what I was doing, but in my mind, the reason I wanted to do it was to show like I don't have to have, that doesn't have to be my reality. All right. So that was my why. Like I wanted to feel better, period. Okay. Because I felt like trash. Seriously, I felt like trash every single day. And at the time, I don't know that I would have called it feeling like trash. I would not say that in the thick of it, I knew how bad I felt. But what I did know is that I'm not supposed to feel like this. There were too many things that were out of my control that had more control over me than I had over it. One of the things that had more control over me than I had over it was sugar. All right. Another thing was ice. So I was severely anemic and I would be eating ice all the time. All right. And it literally had control over me. It was like I couldn't stop. It was like I had some sort of disease. Okay. I could not stop it. And I didn't like that. I did not like the fact that this thing had control over me. I didn't like it at all. Okay. And so you got to get clear on your why. But I want you to test the why. Okay. So once we create the why, it can't just be any old why. All right. You got to test it. All right. So not all whys are created equal. Not all reasons are created equal. So if your why is a shallow why, if it's based on pressure that you're getting from other people, or if it's based on something that's superficial, the motivation behind that is going to sizzle out quickly. All right. So when you have a deep why and is rooted in the things that matter the most to you and what you want for your life in the long run, years from now, something that's going to give you longevity, you're going to be more likely to stick to it. So an example of a shallow why would be like, I want to lose weight because I got to go to my class reunion and I'm trying to be cute in this dress. All right. Or I want to lose weight because, I want to be slim. I want my waist to be slim. I want to look a certain way. Or I want to be fine or whatever. It's great to want to look good in your clothes. We should want to look our best. But just want to fit in a dress so you can be cute for a season or an event, that's shallow. And you're going to get, as soon as the event is over, you're going to go back to doing what you were doing. All right. But a deeper why would be, I want to lose weight so that I could absolutely feel better every single day, so that I can have more energy for my children, for my spouse. I want to make sure that I don't get a chronic illness like high blood pressure or, diabetes or any of these things. I want to make sure that I don't get those things. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to pull Instagram up on this side of my computer because I cannot see the comments. So if you have a deeper why, that's going to sustain you more than I want to fit in a dress. I want to fit in this dress and I want to be cute. That's only going to last as long as the event. As soon as the event is over, you're going to go back to doing what you used to do. All right. And so we want to test the why and make sure it's tied to something that we see, that we value, or that we see as important, and that we I don't know how to see myself on Instagram. All right. I don't know. I'm gonna let it go. I want to see the comments on IG. I don't know whose idea was this for me to go on our channels. Was it mine? All right. So you want to test it. So you want to get the why, and then you want to test it. All right. Once you get it, I need you to write it down, and then you're going to test it by asking yourself, is this why something that I really, really, really care about? Will this thing matter to me next year? So you see why me being cute in this dress at the event is not going to matter a year from now. And does it line up with my values? All right. And if it isn't, I want you to go back to the drawing board and make sure it does. Is it something I care? Is it tied to something I care about? All right. Is it anchored? So my decision to get healthy was anchored to my relationship with my children. I wanted to be a better mother. I wanted to be a better wife. All right. Absolutely. A year from now was going to matter to me. And being healthy was something that I valued. All right. So you want to run it through that. All right. To make sure that you connect to something meaningful so you actually do that thing. All right. The next thing you're going to do, step 2, you are going to set a small, achievable goal. So we start the thing off sometimes and we're like, man, I'm going to lose 30 pounds this month. All right. Maybe we just set a goal of, listen, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in this month. All right. Because if you're getting back on track, it means that you have allowed something to get in the way of what you need to be handling, and that those things don't go away. So you're not going to suddenly have more time. You're not going to mother less or wife less or focus on your career less. So you have to make sure you have the time. So it has to be something small. Otherwise, it's going to overwhelm you and you're going to quit. All right. So if your goal is to get healthier physically, a small goal, just a tiny goal could be, listen, I'm going to spend 15 minutes. If you can do more than that now, make it 30. All right. I'm going to spend 15 minutes exercising every day. Maybe maybe your goal is to improve your emotional health. Well, then maybe you're going to start journaling for 5 minutes or reading your Bible for 10 minutes every single morning. You see that? These are things that take less than. So you want to make it so small that if you don't do it, you should feel like it's a no miss. It's like there's no way you can miss it. It's so small, you couldn't miss it. 15 minutes, like the busiest person spends way more time than that on Instagram. You could walk in Instagram, but the point is 15 minutes of exercising, all right? So for every area, and I don't want you to do probably more than 3 areas, all right, that you want to improve. So maybe it's physical health, emotional health, relationships, maybe it's career, all right? You're going to choose one goal, all right, for whatever areas you want to improve, just one goal. And make sure that you are like specific. The way you'll know you're specific is at the end of the day, you'll be able to say, I did do it or I didn't. There's no in between. Either you hit the mark or you missed it. That's it. So it needs to be specific and it needs to be achievable. All right. So if you haven't exercised, you're not going on a 90-minute walk. I used to do, this reminds me when I used to do like 8 miles, and Ro used to be like, can you do that every day? Absolutely not. All right. She said, what can you do every day? I said about 2, maybe 3 miles. And it felt so easy to do 2 miles. I felt like I was kind of cheating a little bit because I'm like, I'm done already. Okay. So the next step you're going to do is make a small, achievable goal. We're not going, going to break the bank and turn our life around in one day. Making it too big is going to overwhelm you. So you want to keep that thing small so that you can make progress, but not be overwhelmed. All right. All right. We're getting to the good part. The next thing I need you to do is, okay, I'm going to give you this word, and it's not a sexy word. People do not like this word, but it will change your life. You're going to create a routine. All right. Routines are literally what help you turn the things that make up your goal into daily habits. Because if you don't create a way for you to be consistently do it, you're going to get on track, but we want to get on track and we want to stay there. We want to get back on track and we want to stay on track. All right. So if you're trying to improve your health, you want to lose some weight. All right. One routine could be having a morning routine that involves you setting an alarm and involves some type of morning exercise, getting up at a particular time and exercising your body. All right. So once you do that, I want you to write out what the routine, there are apps that you can use to put the routine in, or you can do it on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be perfect, just something that you can start doing every single day. All right. To make sure that you are hitting that goal. The next thing I want you to do is to track your progress. So you can do a habit tracker. You could do a calendar. It could be a piece of paper where you write out the goal and you write out the days of the week and give yourself a check for each day. But when you track your progress, it lets you see how far you've come, what's working, and it lets you see whether or not you are consistent. The other thing that tracking lets you do is do you need to adjust something? Is there something that you maybe made a goal and it's not working and I need to start making adjustments? If I say I'm going to work out 30 minutes every day and it seems like I'm only hitting that goal 4, maybe 5 times, well, maybe I need to adjust it to 15. Maybe that goes too high. Maybe I'm asking too much in this season. All right. So it allows you to see where adjustments need to be made, because if you don't make the adjustments so that you can do this thing every day, it's not going to be an effective plan. All right. So again, it doesn't have to be fancy. There are paper trackers there. You can use just a journal, a piece of paper, an app, your calendar. It doesn't matter, but you're going to write it down or put it in the app and give yourself a check for every day that you did it, so you can see how consistent you are. So I want you to start tracking the goals every single day, and don't feel bad if you have to adjust it. Sometimes we will quit altogether because that perfectionism will creep in, and because we can't do it perfectly, we're like, man, forget it. I'm not going to do it no more. It's just not a good season. No, if you missed it, you get back on and you try to keep being consistent. But if you're consistently being inconsistent, it's a clear sign that you need to adjust the plan. All right. So the important thing is that you don't quit. All right. Here's the last thing I want you to do. This is the secret sauce. This is why most people do not succeed. You are going to have to build in some accountability. It is the pressure from somebody who is not you, somebody outside of you, sometimes that will make it easier to stick to the plan. When somebody else knows about it, and not only can they support you when you don't want to do it, but they can get on your tail when you don't. It's going to keep you committed. So I don't know what that looks like for you. Like right now, I'm in a extreme accountability situation with Rochelle T. Parks that will cost okay, for each infraction if I don't do it. All right. I am feeling amazing. My blood pressure is back where it's back on track. Okay. Everything is back on track. Y'all, today, I'm gonna tell y'all. So on my journey, I have these. This is how I think about my journey, and me and Ro kind of talk about it. I have a weight that I call the shadowy place. I got it from the movie The Lion King. If y'all remember when Simba was a little boy and his daddy took him to the edge of the pride lands. Hey, Miss Dorothy, his daddy took him to the edge of the pride lands and he said, "What is that area over there?" And his father said, "Oh, that shadowy place. You must never go there." Okay, so I have a weight that if I hit this is the shadowy place. I don't belong here. Just like Simba did not belong in the shadowy place. Okay. Simba had no business in the elephant graveyard. He wasn't supposed to be over there. So there's a weight that I'm just not supposed to be. So I call it the shadowy place. All right. But there's a weight that when I get there, first of all, to maintain it well, all my numbers are amazing. My blood pressure looks like on point, y'all. Like sometimes it'd be like 100 over 60 or 70. My glucose be hidden. Like my clothes are fitting. I'm firmly in my eights, not, the shaky eights where, you can get in it, but you can't move. And so I call that the sweet spot. All right. So I'm just saying this to say, this is what accountability has done. I really think that probably either tomorrow or maybe because we don't officially do weigh-ins until Sunday. Sunday when we weigh in, I feel like I'm this close to getting out of the shadowy place. I'm this close to getting out of the shadowy place. And once I do that, I'm only 10 pounds to sweet spot. I'm only 10 pounds to sweet spot. And so what I'm saying is, what was the secret sauce, the thing that made me be able to do it? My family had movie night and I let them have it. My family they had burgers one day and I had a burger with them, but I put it on a bed of lettuce, okay? And they had it on bread. But I'm just saying, no, I didn't have no junk on it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing, no mayonnaise, none of that stuff. They had a little concoction sauce they made up. I'm out. All right. Why? Because I had a layer of accountability, that I was accountable to somebody else who's not only going to check me and say, okay, what are we doing? But also there were consequences. All right. So if you don't have an accountability partner, you need to get one. All right. I don't know. You need to join my community. We have accountability in the Success Squad. Okay. I don't know, but you need to get someone who's going to hold you accountable like this, that's going to stay on you when you're not going to stay on yourself. All right. And it can't be the friend who's always going to give you a pass. It's not the friend who will treat you like you treat you. All right. Because sometimes I'll be like, girl, you deserved it. You ran 8 miles today. It can't be that friend that be like, yes, you are absolutely right. Not that friend. All right. But it needs to be the friend that's going to be honest with you, who's going to hold you accountable. That's really the secret sauce. So once you get the plan in place, now you got to find somebody who's really going to hold you accountable. And the truth about that is, most of us don't want to be vulnerable enough to be held accountable. So you have to find safe people who can be honest with you and in love tell you what you need to do better. All right. So just to run it down, the first thing you're going to do is figure out what your why is. Why are you doing it? Why does it matter? You're going to ask yourself those clarifying questions. All right. Is it tied to something I care about? Is it going to matter in a year? Does it align with my core values? All right. If it's not a yes to all three of these, go back to the drawing board and get a new why. All right. You need it because that's the foundation that the goal is going to sit on. Then you're going to make a small goal. We're not going to try to lose 20 pounds this month. We're not going to do that. We're going to set a small goal. All right. That we're going to do. Then we're going to make a routine that leads up to us actually doing the things that includes how we're going to do these things. How are you going to make sure you exercise? What time are you going to do it? Like, put it on your calendar. Then you're going to track your progress, but you're going to give yourself grace if adjustments need to be made. And then you're going to get you an accountability partner. All right. So this is how you get back on track. It's really that simple. So from this moment today, I want you to go ahead and get started. I need you to lock in on that thing that needs your attention in your life that you keep putting off, that you keep saying, I'm going to do, but you're not doing it. All right. I need you to lock in. All right. I want you to be graceful with yourself as you do it because this whole thing is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's okay to start small. You do not have to start big and go 120. What matters is that every day you're making progress. All right. That's the important part. All right. So I want you to sit down and, if you can, start implementing this plan tonight. All right. I will be talking a little more about how to hold on to these changes in your life. Okay. Once you get back on track, how do you stay on track? I'll be talking about this in my masterclass on September the 12th. If you want a link to get your seat, there is no cost to you. It is a free masterclass where, just like this, but with more people, where I will be teaching down, okay, for roughly an hour-ish. All right. I'll be teaching down just like this. And so come join me. I'm going to give you more actionable steps and how to start doing these things, all right, so that you can start to create the life that you want, all right, so you can get off the sidelines, get off the bench, and start getting back on track. I want you to know that just because you made the decision to share your life with other people, it doesn't mean that you have to put yourself on the back burner. So I want you to make a decision today, that this is the last day that you do not take care of yourself, all right? I think that's all I got. I absolutely love y'all to life. I know I came on later, but I love y'all to life. So listen, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I keep saying 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and clearly that's not a good time for me, okay? Clearly, the way my life is set up, okay? I don't know. I honestly, I'm better in the earlier part of the day. The later it gets, things start to happen, okay? So anyway, I love y'all to life, and we will finish day 5 of getting back on track. I want to talk to you about, so tomorrow we'll be talking about, once you get on track, how do you hold on to it? How do you stay on track? All right. So I will see you tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I absolutely love you to life. And do yourself a favor and bring a friend, because when you get better, everybody around you gets better. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good evening.